If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard in Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
Going on, everybody? We are tag teaming the WWE pay-per-view. The PWZ is teaming up with the Top Rope Report. My name is Rick Del Santo, joined by Mr. Trivia and Greg the Nugster. What's going on, guys? How's it going?
Good, really good.
Pretty good, Rick. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, well, the WWE produced a somewhat, well, I'd like to say halfway decent pay-per-view tonight. I wasn't fully invested in it. Probably one of the worst ones building up to WrestleMania, to be honest with you. This is one of those kind of throwaway pay-per-views. Did you guys watch the pre-show at all?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I missed the Riddle match. Who did he even wrestle?
Mustafa Ali.
Oh, that's right. And then I just so happened to walk back into the house when Retribution was breaking up with him. What do you guys think of that? You think they're going to continue those guys under those gimmicks, or they're just going to go back to their previous gimmicks?
I don't know. I told after it ended and they choke slammed Ali, I said to Greg, I said, those two guys right there are going to be your new tag team, I think.
I like Dijak. I think he's great.
Yeah.
He's what's T-Bar? I think he's really awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's just been a long time coming. They've been teasing it for a very long time, probably like months, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had to do something because WWE Universe just was not buying into Retribution.
Well, not for nothing. They kind of failed miserably in the beginning. Like they just kind of made them a joke right away. Because if it was written properly, they could have been a hell of a force to be reckoned with. You know what I mean? There's a lot of really great talent in that group, and it could have been an awesome group, but they just made it a joke. They were jobbing them out every week. You know what I mean? It was kind of crazy and ridiculous. But Mia Yim. I wonder, do you think Mia Yim will probably stay in the main roster, go back to NXT?
Well, I think they'll leave her on the main roster.
Yeah. I mean, her husband's there, right? Her boyfriend, whatever. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you, before we came on, I told myself, I said, that pay-per-view was a little bit better than I thought it would be.
The main event was really good. I really liked that a lot. And then it didn't necessarily start off strong. I did like the women's tag match. I mean, it wasn't incredibly terrible, but it had some fun things.
The Sheamus match was amazing.
I mean, damn, that was just so much fun to watch. It was just insane. And they went all over the place, and I hope they had permission to break through the Thunderdome. Because I literally said, oh, shit, I really hope they got that cleared with Vince, because that's got to be an expensive product,
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
Right up top, where it says Richard is recording the call, there's a picture of me, there's a picture of Rick, and then right there, it says add people to the call. Do I click on that to add Greg or just leave it the way it is?
No, you could.
I'm on the call.
You just leave it as. I'm recording, so it's not going to allow you to record.
Okay. No problem. Just wanted to ask before I touched anything.
No, don't touch anything, and I'll send you a file.
Nope.
I don't. It'll be a disaster.
Okay. Right here. I'm not touching anything. So.
Keep your hands in view the whole time, sir.
Yes.
Were you surprised that they had Riddle on for the pre-show?
No.
No?
Of any matches that they had, that would, what other match would have been pre-show worthy?
See that I'm calling. I got this. See, I thought that match was really good, actually, the Big E and Apollo Crews. But I thought the ending was like really weird. Like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, I looked away for half a second. All of a sudden, the match was over.
That's exactly it. I heard the bell ring, and I look up, and the commentators were like, were his shoulders down?" They questioned. I'm just like, I don't think anything happened. So, I wonder if they're just ruling it a no contest or whatever. Like, did it get chaotic or whatever? Mike, did you happen to witness anything?
Big E got the pin, didn't he?
Nobody knew what happened. Even the commentators on air, they had no clue. Like I said, like Greg said, I looked away for a second as well. Like I was looking down on my phone doing something for a second, and all of a sudden the bell was ringing. And I got to tell you, I really thought Big E was delivering some really great belly-to-belly suplexes in that match. Like those things are really intense looking. That guy has really come a long way as like a singles wrestler.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, definitely. He definitely has.
I mean, I don't think that match even went 4 minutes total. I mean, it was one of those things where you're expecting so much more out of it. And it was, Apollo laid a beat down on him afterwards.
Yep.
So yeah, they're probably. My guess is that they're going to carry it going longer. The feud probably maybe even into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because of that, because it just basically it seemed like it ended in no contest. There was no official announcement made at the end of the match. It's just Apollo Crews beat the shit out of him and just sat there talking in his newly found accent that he just discovered in him.
Yeah.
So
that's what I said to Greg on the show this morning. I said, who had the worst accent, Lana, Kofi Kingston, or Apollo Crews? And then
I remember Kofi Kingston.
They lost their accent, but Apollo found his. So
no, I think that they're building up something really cool with him, though. It's like that guy's been kind of lingering, just kind of, you know what I mean? They didn't seem to know what they were doing with him, and then all of a sudden, like they're really doing something, and that's pretty good, I think, at least. So
he is. I mean, he is a talented wrestler. Up until they've actually put a microphone in front of him, he seemed to me like kind of a dud. But he seems to start to get into a little groove on the mic, and like I said, he's definitely, a powerhouse in the ring as well.
Yeah, he's definitely gotten better on the mic. Definitely.
Yeah, I think he's definitely improved. I mean, I don't watch a whole lot of the product outside of like pay-per-views these days because I don't know, man. It's really rough to sit through a 3-hour Raw. I mean, it really is. I mean, so there's a lot of times it's Tuesday mornings I'll watch it and fast forward through a lot of it because it's just.
Yep.
I mean, so a lot of times going to the pay-per-views, I really don't even know what's going on because it's so hard to sit through. I don't know what they're thinking though with the Raws or like even the shows in general. SmackDown, I think, has been killing it. But I'm watching the shows. It's like there's a lot of ridiculous stuff, like the green slime incident that happened last week, or like ridiculous. Now you saw we were coming in after the one of the matches was. You see the skit with Riddle and Nakamura behind this like backstage? I was like, no wonder people are complaining about this. This was like the dumbest thing. I wanted to shut it off right there because it was like I was annoyed with that whole entire like 2-minute experience of my life. So, so it was just bad, man. But that led into Nakamura and Seth Rollins. I thought they killed it, man. I thought they had a really great match.
They did.
Yeah, I agree.
And it came to a couple times of them just going back and forth. You thought I actually did think Nakamura was going to get the win at some point. It just seemed pretty.
They were going to have they were going to have Seth Rollins and Cesaro instead of Seth Rollins and Nakamura. But I guess because of what went on Friday night, they just put the two together in this match tonight.
I didn't see the whole thing on Friday night, so can you refresh my memory or throw that in my way?
Well, Seth Rollins came out and was talking about when he first came back and everybody was surrounding the ring and then everybody left but Cesaro. And then while he was talking about that, how Cesaro swung him around 22 times, Nakamura comes out and he confronts Seth Rollins. He takes the microphone and he says, "Will you shut up?" And then they went at it.
I think Cesaro's a guy they've have to put a title on him at some point. It's been way too long, and I have a feeling that maybe now is going to be a time that they're really considering putting like a major singles title on him, even if it's for like a little while. You know what I mean? Because it's like, and if anybody's deserving enough in the company, he's gone in there and done basically anything he's ever been asked, and he still puts on some of the best matches on the show.
Yep.
You know, so I'm hoping at some point that they're gonna. Really thought recently they're gonna. It seemed like they were giving him a push, like a big enough push to where they were gonna throw the title on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what I wouldn't mind seeing is, like carry the Big E Apollo into WrestleMania,
Right.
and maybe even have Apollo take the title off of Big E, and then kind of like an NXT championship. You lose your NXT title, and then you go to the main roster. So
Right.
Big E, loses his title to Apollo, but he's the next to step up to Roman Reigns, and then
Right.
possibly Cesaro slides into that title match, title scene with Apollo Crews.
Right. I think last year they were talking about putting Big E in the main event of WrestleMania this year. That was like, whatever time last year. Obviously, it was a year ago almost probably. But, to see him against Roman Reigns, I think that would be a phenomenal match. Like if they did that at Mania. So obviously, I really like the main event tonight, but I thought the ending was terrible. But it always seems like they have to have a wonky finished something, like every main event that they have, and it just doesn't give. I feel doesn't give the champion enough credit. You know what I mean? Like look at days of where there was like San Martino and Hogan and Backlund and stuff, where they can overcome the bulk shit.
Well,
and not have to.
Thing with Roman Reigns standing over by the referee and Daniel Bryan running at him, I said, "Oh, that's it. Referee's getting knocked out of the ring."
Yeah, I mean, there was just, you just knew that Edge was going to get involved somehow. I didn't know that he was going to smash Daniel Bryan with a chair. Like that part, I didn't expect really, but I thought it was going to be something different towards Roman. I did, I kind of figured that Bryan wasn't going to win the match, but it's like that slight chance of hope because it is supposedly his last run in the professional as an active wrestler.
Right.
So,
he did a lot better than I thought he would.
Yeah, I thought it was one of the best matches tonight.
Annihilate him, but he
Yeah.
did a lot better than I thought he would.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did very well. And I mean, me and Mike have been talking about it for a little while. I think we're going to see a triple threat match with Edge, Roman Reigns, and Daniel Bryan. And having Roman Reigns, had that little tap, just puts a little bit more controversy on it. But this title run that Roman Reigns is doing, with Jey Uso getting involved in almost every match or something happening almost every match, kind of starting to look to me like good old Seth Rollins with the Authority, Bayley with Sasha Banks. I mean, I'm getting sick and tired with them having champions that are holding major titles that are getting help and distractions from an outside entity. It takes away from the champ.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and it's annoying. It doesn't. And first off, it doesn't give any kind of like realism as part of like the match. You know what I mean? And so it's like really disappointing to see something like that because you never see anybody just win a match straight up anymore. It's got to be a chair. It's got to be interference. And I'm an old school fan, so all this interference and weapons and shit just kind of like irritates the shit out of me. Like, so.
I know when we were doing the podcast this morning, I had said to the guys on the show, and I said, wouldn't it be because, we were talking about the Randy Orton-Alexa Bliss match. And I said, well, wouldn't it be something, I said, if the Fiend came up from the bottom of the ring?
They were listening to you.
And it was like, wow, what a pretty scary sight he looked like.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was crazy looking because somebody had texted me asking me, why does he look like that? I'm like, because he was burnt to a crisp, Like, totally forgot. I mean, the Alexa and Randy thing, Do you guys? I mean, it wasn't necessarily a cinematic match, but there was definitely a lot of special effects involved, and very predictable in a way. Because I kind of figured everybody kind of had a hint that the Fiend was coming back.
Alexa Bliss's way of straddling Randy Orton. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little bit blah. I thought it was kind of corny, but whatever. It is what it is. I don't know why you're continuing doing that whole entire thing. I mean, it hasn't really done anything. You know what I mean? At least for me. I mean, I'm not sure how you guys feel about it. It's just, I don't know. And then every week he seems to be puking up the black goo like every single week, and nothing's happening to him. So I mean, wouldn't you want to go see a doctor if that kept happening to you?
Yeah, definitely.
See, the one thing I do give WWE kudos for is, especially on Raw, they tend to just end storylines and not do anything with them. I mean, perfect example was with, we got, the Hurt Business and New Day going back and forth for match here, match there, match there, match here. New Day wins their titles back, and what's the match for the title at WrestleMania going to be? Is it going to be Hurt Business getting their rematch? No, it's AJ Styles and Omos. So the fact that you are carrying through with a storyline that we're actually able to get to see, potentially get to see a finish too soon, is why that's one of those storylines that I am invested in.
Right. I think that WWE has an issue, like you said, they have an issue with just ending storylines. I don't know if it's that they just don't, if they feel like it's not working. You remember if there was a feud going, it would just end up having a blow-off match kind of a thing. And that doesn't seem to be happening a lot of times, like in the modern age. They feel it's not working. They just say, fuck it, and we're done. We're starting something different tonight. And it just happens too often these days.
Run some of the storylines a little bit better on SmackDown.
They've been a consistently better show for like at least the last 2 or so months, 3 months.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Especially with like the whole, I guess starting with like the Roman thing, But even the in-ring action tends to be better on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right. I mean they have a better roster. I feel like with Bryan, Cesaro, Nakamura, and I always thought SmackDown was like the more wrestling based show than the other one, Raw, rather. Yep. Now, I read last week. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but I guess last week's Raw, out of a 3-hour program, there was only 58 minutes of actual wrestling. The rest was all behind-the-scenes interviews and bullshit and all that crap like that. 58 minutes for a 3-hour wrestling program. And people wonder why they're not tuning in.
Right. And what they want to do is they want to... they'll have an opening segment that lasts 15 minutes, but then they'll spend throughout the show recapping that same thing 3 different times, 5 minutes apiece. So you're wasting half an hour on that one thing. And they just, if you're trying to fill time, then just get rid of the hour. I mean,
that's exactly what they're doing. Like they're trying to fill up time. Probably USA said we're giving you another hour. Yada yada. You need to fill it up with something, and it's like there's not any more matches than there was prior to it. It's the same amount of matches, if not less, really. They stretch them out. They'll do commercial breaks. It's not in any. They didn't make it any more interesting. And like you said, the opening segment, they always do some sort of talk show segment or some wrestler interrupts or just comes out in the middle after the introductions, and then that's a good 20 minutes, almost half hour right there before they have a match.
Yeah, they need to do something about that Miz TV.
They need to get him off TV. Like he's annoying the shit out of me. So he's and not in like a.
And he's doing his job.
Well, I mean, a lot of people say that, that he must be doing his job the right way. I'm like, no, I really fucking find the guy annoying. So it's like, I know the difference. But a lot of people say that.
Looking forward to tomorrow night's Raw because I want to see what kind of impact Rhea Ripley is going to make.
She's debuting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Here? Or not debuting, I guess, returning, I should say.
Yeah.
So, because she has been there before. That's pretty interesting. I'll probably, I'm trying to tune in, trying to watch more for the sake of the podcast and try to, create more content for the public. So Monday Night Raw and SmackDown are going to be making their way in, unfortunately.
Yep.
So, what else happened that you guys want to talk about today?
Well, I think. Well, let's see. I thought there was a lot of action in the Riddle match, which was good. Like I said, the Drew McIntyre Sheamus match definitely.
That was unbelievable. Yeah, I mean,
had to be the hardest.
It looked like
match. Obviously, I mean, they were just breaking through everything.
I think those guys.
When are they going to take them out of Tropicana Field for baseball?
I heard that they're supposed to be moving them very soon because I read about it that they're moving the Thunderdome to another arena because of this. I don't remember when and where, but it's supposed to be very soon, within the coming weeks.
I don't think the Rays play a home game until I think their actual home opener, if I remember correctly, is the Friday night SmackDown before WrestleMania.
Okay. So that's at least 2 weeks or so, almost 3 weeks.
Have live fans at WrestleMania.
36%.
Fans, regular fans on the TV shows?
Don't know.
We haven't heard. Nothing has opened up yet, but from what I understand, it's very possible. But I think that they're using WrestleMania as a tester, basically. Yeah. So right now,
it's like 25,000 fans for each night.
I think it's 36, isn't it? Is that Greg?
Well, they're selling 25,000 tickets for each night.
25,000. Okay.
Now, once again, that doesn't mean that they're not going to give out 10,000 tickets. Like the Super Bowl, they didn't sell all their tickets. They gave tickets away to healthcare workers and this and that, first responders. So they may have, another 10,000 in, but they're selling 25,000 tickets each night.
Right. And I heard they range from $35 all the way to like $250. So it's actually a bargain bin WrestleMania if you think about it. So
I actually went on Ticketmaster today while we were doing our show, and floor seats opposite the ramp were selling for $2,000 a ticket, and that was through Ticketmaster. That wasn't secondary.
That's $2,000, you said?
Yeah, $2,000.
So wow, they raised the prices from since I saw that.
And the funny thing is it's been so long since they've had live crowds. They could have sold them for $5,000 a pop, and they would have sold them.
Yeah, I think I went to. I was at WrestleMania 35, and in New Jersey, and my tickets were like $2 and change each. I bought them. Or I got them. Actually, my wife got them as a Christmas gift. But me and my stepson went, and it was literally like right where the ramp was, so we couldn't even see them like fucking come out. We're like behind the Titantron, basically.
Yeah.
And the only thing was like, oh my god, it was loud because of the pyro and stuff like that. And basically, it was a 9-hour show as well. On top of that, so it was brutal to try to take a nap in the middle.
In New Jersey for that fan fest?
What about New Jersey?
Greg, wasn't that the WrestleMania we went to for that?
Yep, Mark, what was it? Mark out at the Meadowland or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, they did that around that same time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't even hear about that one.
It was WrestleMania morning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We did our podcast from there.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know about that. I think I got there in the morning, literally, because I think I don't even remember what time the show started, to be honest with you, but it started really freaking early during the day. So I think we left at like 10 in the morning, got there I think it only took like 2 hours. That's how close it was in Jersey. so it wasn't too bad. But it was a lot of fun hanging around, you know what I mean, talking to other fans, and it was like a whole store set up just for the merchandise and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. So who knows? Maybe, you know, I thought because like if the tickets they had ticket prices that cheap, I thought about going down to Florida just to go just for the hell of it. But nah, I'm not going to travel. But,
no.
Yeah, no doubt.
So that looks like it's going to be a pretty decent. You know, they announced the show, or at least some of the show, right? They didn't announce the full show.
No, I think they've only announced like 4 matches.
It's more matches than they normally announce for a pay-per-view. It's like they don't announce anything anymore. So let's see if we can find that. Anyways, keep talking for now.
Now for you guys that watched it on Peacock, I watched it on Peacock tonight. I was pretty impressed. It didn't skip. It didn't buffer. Didn't do anything.
I decided to watch it on Peacock tonight because just in about a week, the network's expiring, right? Or 2 weeks?
Yeah, April 5th.
So
April 5th is when the WWE Network is gone in United States. I don't know about...
In the United States only. They already started moving content over.
Yep.
Some of the content's gonna take longer to get up there. And I heard that the transition should be, August rather. Excuse me, I said Friday. The transition everything should fully be transitioned by sometime in August. So I just find it's weird that they haven't moved more up there. And I'm wondering if they're going. I'm hoping rather, but I'm wondering that they're going to be moving a lot of that same classic content that's been up there. You know, there's a lot of stuff that they own the footage of, like the AWA, World Class, and all that kind of stuff. So if they're going to be moving it all up there and keeping the same exact formats, and you know, I go back and watch a lot of the old stuff from that I grew up with.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah. So, it brings back memories, you know what I mean? So, and the old prime times, I want them to upload even more prime times because they still have probably 2 years.
2 weeks ago when Mario was on.
Yeah. They probably have like 2 years left that they have to upload, so they haven't even touched some of them. But
yeah, for as long as they've had this deal in place, I would have thought they would have once again had more content, or even have all of the content that they have right now. You know, be able to transfer that over. I mean, I'm not a software expert, but it couldn't have been. It can't be that hard that they couldn't have figured out in the 2 or 3 months they've known about this transition.
You're right, because they should have gotten more up there. Because I looked and there's really not a lot up there, and especially not a lot that I really want to watch because they really focused heavily in stuff from the last few years. You know what I mean? Like getting it up there because they want the more modern content. They really focus on, you know, obviously WWE has a way of forgetting history. They've done it for many years, forgetting the way things have gone.
The WWE removing Batista from the Hall of Fame.
They are? Did that really happen?
Yeah, somebody had sent me a message just after Fastlane went off the air, and he said he thinks the reason why they did that was because Batista was somebody had mentioned something about Batista was calling Tony Khan.
Oh, I don't know about that.
And it's like, I don't know. They were saying
he's
got his movies coming out, and
I know he's got movies coming out, but he claimed to be retired. Was it WrestleMania 35? So who really cares? You know, if he goes over there, does it really matter? He was a product of WWE, to be honest with you. You know, like he was trained there, and so I guess I could see why Vince would get a little butthurt, I guess. But does it really matter? I'm not going to turn on my TV because I heard Batista was on. You know, just to. You know, that's not a guy that I go crazy looking for on TV.
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah, and I never...
Because I know yesterday when we were at the autograph signing, one guy had asked Barry what he thought about the two inductees in the 2021 Hall of Fame, and Barry was like, I got no comment. He said WWE is scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Well, who's being inducted this year? So far, it's Molly Holly, and who else was announced, Mike?
Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, I could think, I would assume Bischoff at some point would get him, inducted. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer at some point. You know what I mean? I mean, the guys kind of did have a big legacy in professional wrestling. Is Vince's only true competitor for a very long time. Like, he really gave him a run for his money.
Yeah.
He stole half his talent. So, yeah, I mean, I could see it. As far as Molly Holly, has anybody else been announced yet?
Active on the roster?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Is The Rock still active?
No, I don't think so.
I think he's
inducted yet.
No, he hasn't been inducted yet. But my guess is, now, I don't know how, if this is going to affect anything. He did a phone-in promo on an Impact show, a few months ago. So, I don't know if that's going to affect anything with WWE, because I thought it was really strange and odd, because he did a Skype in because Ken Shamrock was getting inducted into the Impact Hall of Fame.
I remember that now.
So The Rock went on and and basically left comments, and they aired it on Impact TV. I don't know if Vince is, and that to me would show a weird sign. I would, Vince is a little sensitive about stuff like that.
Right.
So,
and I put a question to the guys on the show some time ago. I mentioned it a few times, and I even mentioned it to Barry yesterday at the signing. And I said to him, Barry, let me ask you a question. Do you think Psycho Sid is Hall of Fame worthy in the WWE?
Oh my God, get off of that. Jeez.
And he said to me, he thinks he would like to see him in the Hall of Fame. I think Sid Vicious should be in the Hall of Fame.
And I'd like to see Eugene in the Hall of Fame, but that ain't going to happen.
I don't think that'll happen, bud. But Sid Vicious, he wasn't fantastic, but, I did like him enough. I thought he played his character well. He wasn't very, great, but but yeah, I could see him going in at some point. Coco Beware's in the Hall of Fame, for Christ's sake. So anybody will get in the Hall of Fame at that point.
Yep.
So, really, you think about it. But as far as the Peacock app goes, I swear this worked better than the WWE Network. I used it tonight.
Yeah.
For the first time. I've had it since it came out. I get it free with my cable deal. So they give you the $5 tier if you're a Xfinity member.
Oh, okay.
So they pay for it. So one of the things that I got to tell you is that when the WWE Network updated its program, whatever their server, whatever, and they reformatted the look of it and all that other shit, it was terrible. It just looked like crap. It would always buffer and kick me out all the time during the shows. Anytime there was a live pay-per-view, I'd get booted out. So, and if I ever tried to rewind something or fast forward to a certain match, it would just boot me out. And it just sat there. So to see this and watch an entire event and not get booted out, and the picture was clear and no interruptions whatsoever, I was amazed and thought that it was perfect.
That was
when they were watching the pre-show, it was on. Once again, I was messing around with my phone, and they said, when they announced that Riddle versus Ali was going to be on the pre-show, I didn't hear what match they had mentioned. I couldn't find a rewind function on Peacock to go back. Like every other, whether it's Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, they all had that 10 or 15 second thing just to jump back for a moment. I couldn't find one on Peacock.
That's something I wanted to address.
Really pay attention now, which isn't a good thing.
Yeah, that's something that I wanted. There's also no rewind. There's no rewind. and there's no pause option. So people like us that are going to be covering the show, say if we got to get up and go to the bathroom or go to the kitchen or whatever, there's nothing. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a disaster. Well, I wouldn't say a disaster, but you know what I mean? That's just a function that I think that Peacock needs to work on, because I think just about every app that I use has one of those. Yeah. YouTube has one. You know what I mean? I'm watching the live YouTube stream. I can do it. Everything. Any streaming service. So they that's something that they got to work on. Maybe they just haven't figured that out yet. I don't know. But it was too much like watching like real live TV. I was like, my kid wanted something. I was like, hey, can you just wait for the match to get over? So it's like I'll go in between matches. I was like, I didn't want to see this because I wanted to come. I was doing a podcast afterwards. So
I was
just one of those
watching the WWE Network on my TV, and I had the Peacock on my computer, and right in the middle of the pre-show, my Fire Stick went out. And that's happened quite a few times during a pay-per-view. Right. And I ended up watching it on the computer. So I just said, screw it. I'll just watch the whole thing on the computer. And I was really impressed. Right. Like I said, nice and clear. Didn't buffer, skip, nothing.
Yeah, there's like I said, I think that maybe they're going to have to work on that pause feature, rewind feature. Maybe this is just one of the things that they're doing for live events. But seriously, like, dudes, WrestleMania is coming up, and I know it's 2 nights. Last year was the experiment on the 2 nights things. They could make those shows longer this year, and there's a very big possibility. I'm not sitting there for like 4 hours, 5 hours, not getting up and going to the bathroom or any of that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, they got to work on that. It's something.
So, Rick, like you were saying about the rewind, Greg, like the rewind feature. So if somebody went back on the Peacock app that didn't get a chance to see the pay-per-view tonight and wanted to watch it like tomorrow or something, they couldn't rewind.
That part I'm not certain of.
I don't know.
Oh. During the live streaming of it, we couldn't do it. I'm at least thinking that once it's uploaded afterwards, that you'd be able to click the forward and back button if need be. So, that's just because I'm pretty sure, because I was watching something else on Peacock a couple of weeks back, and I think that feature is there for stuff that they upload to their system. So I'm guessing it's just because it was like a live stream that you weren't able to, but even still, during WWE live stream.
I just pulled up a movie on Peacock on my phone, and it has the pause, the 10-second forward, 10-second backward function.
Okay, good. So
now,
as far as
now, it started late on my Peacock app.
That I don't know.
Like 10 after 7 before.
10 minutes after 7?
Yeah, because it was like
it could have.
After they go through all the, how they go through the introductions and the.
I mean, but that's every pay-per-views like that. It started at 7 o'clock.
Mine, I started it. It said started 1 minute ago, but it actually took me to the beginning of the show when I clicked on it.
Right.
And then, which I was just like, oh, that's weird. So I was just like, now I have to sit here for a couple extra minutes or whatever. But I didn't really mind too much because I was, getting ready to do this show and stuff. So it's pretty interesting overall. But yeah, good luck to Peacock. I think it's going to end up working out. Like I said, a lot of people complaining. They don't seem to understand the concept of Peacock. You can either get it for free or half the price of the WWE Network. Don't be stupid. It's, in your, it's right there. It spells it out. You know what I mean?
And do you want to get it with the commercials or without,
Yeah, if you want to get it, all the commercials cut out, it's the same price. And you're going to end up getting a shit ton of other regular TV for the same price on top of it. But I don't really care for the commercials. You know what I mean? That's not going to really bother me. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's if I was, I'll sit through the ads because for $5, what the fuck not, right?
Right.
So.
I'm just wondering if their agreement with Hulu, if and whenever that contract may come up, if they're going to take the rebroadcasting of like Raw, SmackDown, NXT off of Hulu and put that on Peacock?
It's a good question because that's going to be, I think it's going to be up there. Or NXT is going to go up there automatically like the next day, right? Isn't that what they were doing with the WWE network anyways? Like taking it, putting up on, I guess, Thursdays immediately?
I'm not sure. I never watched NXT on the network.
Yeah, I used to watch it on the net. Well, I used to watch it on the network. Then when it went to USA, I think because there's so many, like a dedicated fan base that had the network because of NXT, that they would put it on the next day rather than wait however many weeks. But doesn't Hulu also has exclusive rights to Main Event as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is that still up there?
Yeah.
So
Hulu takes forever to post SmackDown, but Raw goes up right away.
Same night or next day?
No, it's usually like the next afternoon, and SmackDown's usually at least 24 hours later.
Really? Is SmackDown shown in its entirety?
Almost. It's just an hour and a half of their 2-hour show.
Yeah.
So when you take out you got the commercials,
it's an hour and a half with the commercials, or without the commercials. Anyways, so yeah, but I knew that they cut Raw basically in half.
Yeah.
Which that's why I had Hulu for a little bit, so I just never even bothered to watch Raw on there, and they didn't have have a lot that I was interested as far as like pro wrestling stuff going on there. At one point they had some stuff, but these days they really don't have anything anymore, right? So I'm wondering, like you said, they did show an advertisement for all the WWE content on Hulu tonight during the pay-per-view. I'm not sure if you guys caught that or not.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I'm wondering if they're going to continue that deal at least for a while. If they're advertising it. So, but the other thing with that is
on our next show. So I'll ask you guys now: what grade would you give the pay-per-view tonight?
I'd have to say about a C plus. I don't want to go into the negative territory because I didn't hate this pay-per-view as much as I thought I was going to hate the pay-per-view.
Right.
Yep. I automatically go into WWE pay-per-views expecting to dislike them because there's like an 80% chance that they're just going to disappoint.
Fastlane last year sucked. That
yeah.
was bad.
What was that?
Fastlane last year was horrible.
I don't remember it. A lot of the stuff is forgettable anyways to begin with, but I thought this was about a C. Because like I said, there was a couple matches that saved the show and made it worth tuning into. At least like the main event, but like I said, I'm not a fan of like constantly having bullshit endings to main event matches, title matches, and then Jey Uso is like that annoying ant that just won't go away. He's just always there.
Well,
and they have Edge.
3 matches that they really focused on were finished to be the last 3 matches.
Yeah.
McIntyre and Sheamus, Roman, and Daniel Bryan. They seem to focus a lot on those during Raw and SmackDown shows, and by putting them as the last 3 matches, kind of, I think built up the grade a little bit because they were the 3 best matches on this card, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I give a little more credit to Rollins Nakamura than I did Alexa Bliss Randy Orton match. That wasn't much of a match. It was,
It was a bunch of smoke and mirrors.
Right? Yeah.
But I'd have to agree with you, Greg, on that because I actually loved Nakamura and Rollins. They always seem to put Nakamura in and like he's going to be this like the next big thing, and then they always have him dropping out to guys. You know what I mean? It's like they give him this huge push, like he's going to be the next big superstar, and then he always loses to guys like Rollins, like going in. Not that that's a bad thing, because Rollins is like one of the top guys they've had for a long time, for years, really. So, but it's just I want to see something more with Nakamura again. You know what I mean?
Well, that's kind of like with Cesaro. They should be giving Cesaro a big push, and he's winning his matches, but they're not giving him any huge matches.
Yeah. They call those guys the good hand. You know what I mean? They go in there, do what they're asked to do, try to help try to help make superstars. You know what I mean? So that's what they end up doing with the guys like that. So I mean, you know, and they're probably very happy to be making the money that they're making as well. So there's also that.
Yeah,
You know,
it's always a good thing.
Yeah.
as far as WrestleMania goes, I think I have the current lineup in front of me, or as of this podcast. So right now it's showing. It is showing Roman Reigns against Edge, but who knows? Like Greg said, at some point that could change to a 3-way if Daniel Bryan goes out and makes a case that it should be a 3-way and that he deserves a chance. You know what I mean? I think that could happen. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Didn't that happen back at WrestleMania 20 with the main event? It ended up, it was supposed to be Hunter and Chris Benoit, and then Shawn Michaels got involved somehow. You don't remember that? That was a long time ago. Making you guys think.
Yeah, it's
We're talking 20 years ago.
Really, how about
So-
what happened 20 minutes ago?
Yeah. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. That's it. That'll be a decent match. I think that.
Speaking of Bianca Belair, when she first came up, I was skeptic about her, and then I was like, okay, and now it's starting to fade again. I mean, I saw in the match today, just with Shayna, just some rookie botches that you wouldn't. I don't know. It's maybe just a personal thing. I just don't like her.
I think
Who was
she's
waiting
great.
for the
I mean, I think
implosion?
she's. What's that?
Who was waiting for the implosion? I was waiting for one team to implode during the match.
I don't think it's going to be Shayna and the other one.
She just slapped Bianca after the match was over.
Yeah.
That's your.
Yeah.
Implosion.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you knew that something's going to happen because they're wrestling each other at the Mania. So
Yeah.
So there was, and then of course there was some heat. Yeah. On top of that, it's Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing. I think it's going to be a really good match. I think Bobby Lashley's been killing it as of late. I wasn't really completely sold on him since his comeback, but over the last few months, he deserves his time. His time in the spotlight, because he's one of those guys that goes out there and works his ass off. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think that him and McIntyre, I don't know how that one could go, because it looks like they could put the title back on Drew in front of a live crowd, because it didn't happen last year. It was an empty arena. It was an empty arena, but at the same time, Lashley just won the title. A few weeks back, 3 weeks back, 4 weeks back.
Yeah.
So, they might not be ready to take that title off him either, because he's killing it right now in that spotlight.
Yep. And they're definitely pushing him as, the almighty, Bobby Lashley. So,
business is a great group that they have now.
Yeah.
It's one of the better things they got going on there.
That's why it was shocking when they took the titles off of the Hurt Business. When they took tag titles away from them, I mean, it was, in my opinion, it was a dumb move.
Yep.
Yeah, but that could always happen. There's still 3 weeks before Mania, and that could happen on TV at some point, a title change. Remember when back when we were growing up, title changes never happened on TV. Now it's like a regular, common thing. It always happened.
Amazing.
Yeah, it always happened on pay-per-views only. But then I remember I saw a title change in person at a house show. I almost flipped out. Like, I was amazed. So. And the New Day against AJ and Amos. We talked about that earlier. That match, I'm not really interested in.
You think they'll put the title on AJ Styles tag team? He hasn't won a tag team title in the WWE.
That would make him Grand Slam champion if he did that.
What's that?
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised at the same time, because he's another one that's gearing up to be slowing down his career as well. I think this last contract he asked for less dates because he wants to slow down, spend more time with his family, etc., etc. So it could happen, before he leaves WWE. I mean, I don't know how long he signed for when he recently signed, but but at the same time, I don't know. They've been killing that New Day gimmick, man, for years, and it's still going.
Yeah.
And it's just something that I feel that needs to be changed. So they could. Who knows? We'll see.
Yep. I think the only ones that have held the tag team titles in the WWE longer than the New Day, or as many times as the New Day, were the Dudleys.
You're probably right.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I don't really remember.
New Day's like, what, 11 times now?
I think that's what they've been pushing on lately. So speaking of which, guys, right now, I'm not speaking of which, but yesterday Barry O died, and I'm sitting here watching an old episode of WWE Wrestling Challenge, and here he is on my television. So, rest in peace to Barry Orton.
Absolutely.
He was actually a really good wrestler. So
yeah, he's one of the enhancement talent who likes to be known as.
Yeah,
I mean, he had a lot of talent for somebody in that era. I mean, but like him, Mario, Barry, Horowitz, all those guys were just there just to put the other guys over and make them superstars. That's why I think maybe those guys should be in the Hall of Fame. Because if it wasn't, I
absolutely think a lot of those guys should be.
Up these stars, they wouldn't be who they are.
You're right, absolutely, because you needed some of the guys like Mario and Barry and all those guys. Because they helped pave the way. They helped. That's what I think was a problem with professional wrestling today, that the enhancement talent does not exist, really. Excuse me. So, I mean, that's...
When I mentioned to Barry yesterday about Mario's school, I told him, I said, Mario's got the school with Paul Roma, Paul Perez, and Steve Paradise. And he goes, who? I said, Steve Paradise. He goes, never heard of him.
Yeah, I don't know if they were in there at the same time. That I'm thinking about it, because I think Paradise was in there a little earlier. Maybe I could be completely wrong.
But he told me, he said, I told him, I said, I'm going to be talking to Mario during the week. He goes, well, next time you talk to Mancini, he said, tell him Barry Horowitz told him learn how to wrestle. So I told that to Mario today, and Mario got a big laugh out of it.
Yeah, I'd like to. I thought meeting Barry was really great. It was a lot of fun, and he had a lot of really great stories to tell. So I'll tell you that. It was really great to meet him in person after having him on the show back in December. So it was really cool. And he talked about everything from Texas to
I'm bringing him back
Florida
in the near future. And next Sunday, for our next show, next Sunday, we rescheduled the Princess Victoria.
Okay.
Interview.
I thought that was April 4th.
No, she sent me a message and said she's not going to be able to be on there April 4th because that has to do something with Easter.
Oh, okay.
I keep forgetting that's coming up.
Yeah. She's got something going on with Easter, so. But next Sunday, March 28th, Princess Victoria is going to be joining us, talking about.
Make sure you guys tune in.
And her love for Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. Anyways, guys, is there anything else you guys want to plug before we hit the road?
Well, like I said, you can listen to the Top Rope Report on Sundays. Also, you want to catch another great podcast, the one that we're on right now, PWZ, with the Professor Rick Del Santo. I just wanted to say, Rick, thank you for having us on tonight. It was a great time. It was our pleasure. And
I'm glad we were finally able to hook up, and I'm glad Trivia stayed awake the whole time.
Yeah, I was impressed. I'm over here trying to yawn, and I was late. The Daniel Bryan match, I'm going like this. I'm saying, I don't want to lay down.
It 3 hours took us a little while.
So.
Yeah, but Rick, thanks very much for having us on. It was a great time.
Absolutely.
I enjoyed it. And Greg, we got to get Rick on the show again pretty soon.
Anytime, obviously. All right, guys.
Talk more about that as we get to the road to WrestleMania. So, thanks again, Rick.